surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
Hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of Film Study. This is Ken McKusick. We're here to continue our series of That One Play. Got a good one for you today. Aren't they all good ones, though? This one, the Lamar Spin move versus the Bengals in 2019. Definitely an iconic moment in Lamar's career. Wonderfully captured on the broadcast, I thought. Here to discuss it with me is Brandon Croxton. Brandon Croxton, yes. How are you doing?
Yes. Hi, great. I'm doing well, Ken. Good to talk to you.
Great to have you back, Brandon. Great first episode from Brandon. Make sure you go look for it among those that have already aired. Happy to have you back anyway. So the Ravens, 2019 was going pretty well for them. They were 6-2. They just had that big win against the Pats, but kind of set us up for what was going on in the Ravens season and in the game in particular coming up to this point.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, the Ravens had just come off a 37-20 win against the Patriots on Sunday night. And they were riding a pretty impressive 4-game winning streak. They started off the season 2-2, and they made a couple of moves for Josh Bynes and LJ Ford. And then they made the big trade for Marcus Peters, and they really got rolling after that. And they were riding a 4-game winning streak coming into this game. And, you know, I would say this was a game that you would consider a trap game, considering Cincinnati was coming into the game 0-8, and we were coming off this big win. So, yeah.
So it's a pretty definitely juxtaposition there with the 8-0 Patriots, who were thought to be one of the greatest teams of all time. The Ravens disabused them of that notion. They did in the previous weeks, one of the greatest defenses anyway. And then the 0-8 Bengals, definitely a possibility of being a trap game, but the Ravens were about to enter an incredible run of offensive football, really, I guess, beginning in part with the New England game, but definitely with this game.
Yeah, they were, like I said, yeah, they put up 37 points on on New England, and the Cincinnati game was just an absolute obliteration. Lamar had a literally perfect passer rating for the game. He threw 3 touchdowns and ran for 1 other. So we almost had the Jackson 5, but not quite there. Because they pulled him out in the fourth quarter. So he wasn't able to get that fifth touchdown. But this was a game that it was almost one of those tune-up games, because the Ravens were just rolling from the very start.
Yeah, if you look at the drive possession chart, so this is while Jackson was in the game, they had touchdown, 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 end of half, touchdown, touchdown. Doesn't get any better than that. In the end of half, a 4-play drive that they essentially kneeled out the last 26 seconds of the clock there. But they weren't cheap drives, like fueled by turnovers or something. 75 yards, 80 yards, 64 yards, 33 yards for touchdown. So they piled up the yards, and which one was it that was the Jackson touchdown? I guess it was the first one of the third quarter, right?
It was their opening drive of the third quarter, and they had just turned the defense had just forced a turnover. Chuck Clark made a heck of a tackle and strip of the receiver, and Earl Thomas recovered for the turnover, and they took over. The first play was Mark Ingram ran for a 8-yard run when they were just grinding Cincinnati to a halt here. And then the play comes up on 2nd and 2 from about the 49-yard line. And they lined up in 11 personnel, and Nick Boyle goes in motion and throws an excellent kick-out block on the linebacker. Mm-hmm. And it's a zone read play where Lamar kept the ball, and he started with he broke free of their defensive end. I think it was Dunlap, and he got into the open field, and Jesse Bates came up to tackle him, and Lamar just did a simple juke of him and left Jesse Bates hugging air. And that's when their linebacker Nick Vigil and their other safety Williams were coming along, and I think they were worried about Lamar just outrunning them to the corner of the end zone, and they over pursued they over pursued Lamar, and Lamar put the spin move of the year on that play.
Mother of all spin moves. It's so much about that I really love. First of all, Bates, very bad angle in a lot of ways. Vigil gets a lot of the blame, and he has to live with this highlight for the rest of his life, which is kind of unfair to him because he actually tackled Lamar Jackson more than any other player in 2019. He tackled him 4 times. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And Vigil has to live with this highlight being for the rest of his life, but he can at least tell that little story about he was the biggest tackler of Lamar that year. And it was really Bates who in my mind just took a terrible angle to the play and really didn't maintain the kind of contain he had in a game that the Bengals had frankly already lost at that point. But the announcer's reaction to it is, I think, such an iconic artifact of this play that it really is what's cool about it. What did you take from that?
Oh, I totally agreed. It was Kevin Harlan who made the call, and when he yelled, "Oh, he broke his ankles," it's the exact reaction I had. I jumped up and down. I said, "He put him in the spin cycle. He put him in the spin cycle." And my son, he was jumping up and down. He was yelling, and this is I think this was the iconic play of Lamar's just absolute spectacular season. And I think Kevin Harlan definitely amplified it in the perfect way.
Harlan has a remarkable background in the history of the game too, so you really respect that coming from him. And as they talk about this over the years, this highlight is replayed for 25 years from now. That's one of the things they may actually pick on is saying, you have Kevin Harlan talking about this. This isn't just some guy who's announcing in his 3rd season in the NFL. This is a guy who's been around the NFL forever and has the James Brown always refers to him as the repository of all football knowledge or something, because he really knows just the game extraordinarily well. I expect him to be on these top 10 lists all the time in terms of a guy you would ask about, who were the best players you ever saw, kind of thing. The other thing that I thought was really spectacular about it from Lamar's perspective was the fact that it was a spin move. And as great as Lamar has been, the spin move has not been a huge part of his repertoire. Most of his things are just getting the other guy to overcommit, reading his leverage, making him miss, breaking his ankles, but not necessarily spinning out of a tackle. And this was just special in addition for that reason.
Yeah. So
Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
So after the game, I think Lamar talked about how Mark Ingram urged them to try the spin move because they had seen it in practice, and they all just they said you need to do it in a game. You need to do it in a game, and this was kind of the trial trial by fire of the spin move. Because you're right, we hadn't seen it. At least I haven't really seen a spin move from him all year, and I don't think we've really seen that many since. But I mean, this was, I don't think you're gonna really top this spin move at all, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they maybe don't want him to do that much. There's two concerns, and one is injury, and the other is turnover on spin moves that I think you're probably at a little bit higher risk. So I'm glad that maybe we haven't. I'm also glad we got to see this one because this was it was a really special memory. I think a lot of Ravens fans, this is an imprinted memory of the Ravens they'll always have.
Yeah, I think, in football, you have these incredible athletes, and sometimes, even these incredible athletes just make that much more of a special play. And this was one of those. I call this play is you got to call somebody. So right after the play, I called my dad, and my dad was, he was acting all normal. And he's like, what are you calling about? And I said, oh, if you don't know why I'm calling, you haven't seen it yet. And then I got to listen to him watch it live and, the move, and he was dazzled by it too. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's a good way to put it too. There's one thing else I wanted to ask you about the 2019 Ravens. So I've talked to a lot of people online about this, or on the show about this. And the question is this, that you're a defensive player growing up. You went on, you played defensive line at Howard with Marcus Douglas, as you've told me before. And one of the things that comes to mind is just how this 2019 defense was rebuilt on the fly. I've never seen anything like it, although the 2022 Ravens are pretty damn good too, in the acquisition of Roquan Smith spilling over to a number of other positions. But that 2019 team had huge holes at inside linebacker, and they filled them both like that, and also played 42% dime. So you have the weak side linebacker replaced by a dime back on a lot of plays. They brought in 2 new nose tackles on the season, Jelly Ellis and Pecco, right? Mm-hmm. And then they brought in Marcus Peters. Ever seen a defense rebuilt on the fly and play at so much of a higher level after those first 4 games?
It's really incredible. And, considering none of these players were superstar players, I mean, you could argue like this past year with Roquan, was really kind of a superstar player, but Vines and LJ Ford I wouldn't even necessarily call them good starters. I mean, maybe you would say they're average starters, or maybe even slightly below average. Same with Pecco, and I mean, obviously Peters, was an All-Pro that year, and probably rightfully so. But yeah, and it was, I think they brought, I'd say, veteran leadership and really kind of more heads up. They were great from the neck up as far as understanding the defense, knowing where to line up, knowing where everybody else needed to line up, as opposed to, what they brought, physically to the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. The awareness of what was going on in the passing game between level 2 and 3 went from literally nothing with the combination of Young and Owasso in the middle there to at a very high level. Bynes was much better than I expected, and he was a revelation. But Fort even better than him, and he ended up being a guy who was in on a lot of third downs. So I really appreciate that team. And the other thing about this, and this is true of Roquan, and this is also true of Marcus Peters, who are both stars, at least for part of their careers before they came here. But Peters had really struggled when he came to the Ravens in terms of his coverage. And I have the information here. I want to make sure I have it right. But he'd allowed, I want to say, the highest his passer rating against him when he was with the Rams, 97.4. The passer rating against him when he was with the Ravens, come on now, let me see if I have this. This is from PFF directly. So was 69.0. So night and day difference. And in all these cases, Roquan had not played as well with the Bears as he did with the Ravens. It wasn't just that Roquan was great when he came here. Roquan was improved also when he came here. And to see both of these players just gives you, I think, a lot more confidence in the Ravens front office, probably their coaching as well, in terms of understanding how these players would fit in to this defense and how they could go out and get marginal talent and really get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, when we traded for Marcus Peters, I was not excited about it. He was spectacular in his first couple of years, and he had really fallen off a lot. And yeah, I'm surprised that that passer rating was only 97, because I watched a few games and it looked a lot worse. And he came over here, and and plus he's always had, he kind of had a reputation as being a little bit of a hothead as well. So
we saw some of that.
Yeah. But he fit in perfectly. Like, he brought that swagger. He brought everything exactly the way you want to.
I think what was special about it to me was incredible gambler. Obviously, he's always been. He's always known. And I think cover 3 was really the system for it, even though he complained about it when he's in LA. Got to move back to his natural side. He was playing a lot of right corner back there, back to left corner with the Ravens. And in this very game, he made one of his great gambling plays for a pick 6 early, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the game.
Yeah, no, this was the game. Yeah, it was the first half. He intercepted. Yeah, pick 6.
And the thing about that is he doesn't have to be right too high a percentage of the time to make that gamble. I calculated it was about 20% that he needs to be right to if the payoff is taking it the distance. He really doesn't need to be right very often on that play. And I thought he fit extraordinarily well with what the Ravens did from a pass rush perspective, and he understood how he could gamble more when they were going to get there early. And in particular, that play, I think that was exactly what was happening.
Yes, yeah, it was a great play, and they would have won it either way, but yeah, it was still a great play to watch, and yeah, he is a great gambler,
Brandon, I absolutely love talking football with you. Where can people talk football with you online?
Well, I'm not really online talking football much, but I am a season ticket holder, so come to section 106, and I'd love to talk to anybody.
All right, outstanding. Brandon, other folks who want to be on the show and do that one play as well, just hit me up with a DM on Twitter. They're always open. I'll get back to you very quickly. We'll turn this around. Brandon came with a show idea just a few days ago, and we're already recording, and it'll be a lot longer before this actually airs than it will be from the time it took to get it recorded. But really appreciate you coming on again, Brandon.
All right, great. Yes, thanks. It's been a lot of fun.
And we'll talk to you next time on Film Study.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.